think it's really important to go into the mind of great tennis players and just understanding a little bit how they work. Eva, just wanted to ask Eva a couple questions. So Eva, when you were young, what was your attitude on the court? And young being, obviously she's 15 now, but when you were 10 playing tournaments.
Right. I mean, the whole philosophy in my family that my dad kind of started was always playing the right way, and now is in my family considered being aggressive, taking the ball early, and just trying to be the initiator, having the match be on your terms. So that was how I played growing up, and I lost a lot of matches by just making unforced errors and just making mistakes with that style of play. But the hope was that eventually those shots and that strategy will start executing better, and that is ultimately what I think helped me translate and get my game better later on.
Why do some players who maybe have the ability, or in fact, in my opinion, many do have the ability to not only be a great college player, but even to go on and be a great professional player, it's my belief that at a young age and all the way through, and I have spoken to many players on the tour that are playing challengers and futures, not quite at the higher level, that they have spent too much time in tournaments, and especially at a young age. I mean, they're being told you have to play massive amounts of tournaments. I don't believe that's true. I believe you have to play massive amounts of matches. And yes, you eventually have to play tournaments. That's the end game in measuring our skills. But at such a young age, you've got young people traveling all over the country, let's say in the US, driving 8-10 hours, and their kid is double faulting twice a game, doesn't get past the first round. That time would have been far better spent working with a coach or another player on their skills. And don't start traveling until you cut your double faults down to a couple of set. And in fact, it would be better if you actually had a very good serve before you start traveling too much.
My task and plan for Iga was to give her tools to use in an adult age in a pro tour. So we chose the runaround forehand. There was a great suggestion of my old coach Paweł Ostrowski, and it was great point and great tip for us. And we were just translate this to teenager language and improve that. That was the one. The second one was a backhand. It was a backhand down the line shot. She was even now you can see that she's using the backhand down the line shot very nice, very strong. And that was like 2 tools, and actually we create 2 swords, because the forehand is always the sword. You're always attacking from the forehand, but most of the time you're defending from the backhand, and she can approach from the backhand as well, even from the deep defense. That was great. And the other tool I gave her, I decided to start doing this more or less. She was like 13, 12 and a half, more or less. We start to learn the kick serve. The kick serve was not so common in women's tennis. Even now, not every women player serve the kick serve. So and as I realized, as a sparring partner, girls always had problems with the kick serve. So I decided to give her this skill, and that was great, because on the tournament, after 3 months of practicing that on the tournament, we checked it on the tournament, and it was even better to serve 2-second serves than the first serve and the second serve. Sometimes she decided to serve not to serving fast first, but just a kick serve.
The developmental plan and the areas of focus, it gave me kind of the base to start talking about how to build a high-level training weeks. So we have to understand that as we talk, based on what we need to work on one line, a long-term developmental plan, and the other line, the short-term goals for the players, and listen to the players' request. we need to set up the week. In this week, we have to understand also that it's about percentages. So what we need, what we think that is going to be impactful for the player's game on that moment. So understanding that if we have some focus on certain areas, is we're going to put more percentage of the week on those areas, we're going to drop on certain other areas. Once we build a kind of the base game, we need to really focus on putting attention on those areas that we think we're gonna generate a big improvement for the player.
One of the particularly I would like to mention as well is on the ready position, where do you have to put your left hand here? I see a lot of women on the tour, they put the left hand down. It's funny because when you see all the men like Djokovic, Nadal and on, when you see them play, they all have the left hand up. And a lot of girls, even if they have a two-hand backhand, when you see a lot of women, if you watch, they have most of the time on the ready position, when they weight the ball, they have the left hand down, all right? I will recommend, I had a lot of girls, juniors that I develop. When I make them play, this is one of the first things I'm watching. And when I ask them, hey, where is your left hand when you are in the ready position? They don't even know where is the left hand.